The people who voted for Donald Trump didn't vote for Trump because they feel like Trump will make their life easier. They voted for Donald Trump because they know Donald Trump will make life harder for people they don't like. No, I will not be explaining further.
I'm Queen. Welcome to Mix Vixen. If you are new here, hey boo. And if you're not new here, thanks for coming through again. I appreciate you. Has been quite a while since I have done an edited video here on YouTube. I think the last time I did an edited video was in May. Yeah, it was in May to be exact. I have done a few streams and I have done things on Patreon, but there was just a lot happening. My laptop broke. I started a new job. I was struggling with, like, I guess anxiety to create. I didn't like anything I was creating. I wanted to figure out ways to work that felt more natural, things that were like tolerable for me before, no longer tolerable for me now. It was just a lot of transition and changed. And I just kind of came to terms and realized that this doesn't have to be perfect. And I never intended for my creation process to be perfect. And I'm leaning into that. I'm releasing that anxiety and I'm leaning into that. And I'm not comparing myself to other people and I'm not trying to be like other people. I just want to be like myself because, like, look at the material. So, yeah, I'm very settled and happy with how I plan to move forward. And yeah, I just wanted you to know that. I just wanted you to know where I am in this process. I think I'm also making a transition to make content that is more about things I care to talk about. I don't care to chase algorithms. I don't care to chase the latest hot topic. That's just not what I want to do. That's just not in me. And that's just not how I create. I don't create in that way. You will see rolling next year what that will look like. But for now, I figured I share my election thoughts. Now, I know it's been a minute since the election. It's been months. Well, I'm exaggerating. It's been a month. Well, almost 2 months because we're about to be into January. But it's been a minute. But I still wanted to share some of my election thoughts on this channel. I have shared those thoughts other places, but I wanted to share them here with you. Before we get into all of that, I do want to share today's video sponsor. And today's video is sponsored by the Vixen Patron members. Become a patron for as little as $2 a month to help sustain this platform and get exclusive content. Or if you don't want another subscription and still want to donate, you can hit me up on a Cash App, you can hit me up on Venmo. I take that as well. And thanks in advance. You're a real one. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's get started.
Vice President Kamala Harris publicly conceded the 2024 presidential election to Donald Trump on Wednesday by encouraging her supporters to continue, quote, the fight for freedom.
VP Harris lost, and we're staring down 4 more years of Trump. Whether you are proudly voting for Kamala or just settling to vote for her, her presence made this election feel a little different. Black women showed up in predictable and surprising ways. There was the Zoom fundraisers and sorority flexes and everything in between. Even people who weren't her fans had thoughts, whether it was grudging support or strong critiques. But now, with her loss, I've seen a lot of reactions online that I felt I needed to unpack. So that's what I'm going to do today. Vice President Kamala Harris losing this election to Donald Trump has led to many Black women, and I've mostly seen this on social media, saying they plan to disengage and going forward ain't gonna do nothing, not helping anymore. And I can relate for the most part because I have realized I don't have to engage in a lot of inclusivity performance, as in being in alliance with non-Black people for my liberation, because I understand anything I do for my liberation automatically frees other people by proxy. That's just how that works. Of course, for Black women to sit these 4 years out and watch the world burn made no sense to me. What world do we live in that burns and doesn't burn Black women with it? The emphasis on rest and self-preservation is powerful, especially for Black women who've historically carried so much. But let's dig deeper. Rest without strategy risks becoming a form of disengagement. Audre Lorde reminded us that self-care is not self-indulgence, it's self-preservation. And that's a political act. But even Lorde understood that self-preservation isn't the end game. It's what fuels the fight for liberation. If voting was the only political act you engaged in, why are you resting? I don't understand what are you voting is the most simplest thing you can do. So I don't understand why you are tired. What are you resting for? I want to ask people watching this video a serious question. With this call to rest and disengagement, are we centering ourselves in a way that propels us forward collectively, or are we inadvertently retreating into individualism? That's a serious question that I have. So if you can leave something in the comments, that'd be dope. I want to be clear. This isn't a critique of rest itself, because I love to rest. One of my favorite things to do is sleep. Second thing to do is nothing. I have no issues with rest. It's a critique of rest as a standalone act, divorced from large collective work. The world won't change just because we opt out or disengage. Liberation requires care and action, not one over the other.
Repeat after me. I will deny all rights of access or entrance.
I will deny all rights of access or entrance.
Now let's talk about the 4B movement. The 4B movement originally emerged from the fringes of the South Korean feminist movement. It developed in South Korean feminist circles and on social media in the mid to late 2010s during a wave of violence against women in the country, and in protest over other manifestations of sexism and inequality in South Korean society. This pushes for Black women to abstain from saving everyone. While valid, feels incomplete, especially as it relates to abstaining from men. Black women in the US mostly partner with Black men. Black men aren't why Trump was elected. He was elected because of white people, specifically white men. The number of white men that voted for Joe Biden last election versus this election shows this. Bell Hooks has also told us already, patriarchy has no gender. And simple binaries like this don't liberate anyone. If anything, this movement highlights how much deeper we need to go, because liberation isn't just about gender. It's about intersectionality, race, class, citizenship, and all of that. It also leaves out another thing. I often hear about these periods in history where women banded together in protest against gender oppressive norms of the time, and that's cute or whatever, but it leaves out that these are usually places with homogeneous populations. All the people look alike, not a place as racially and ethnically diverse as the United States. A lot of the social programs other countries have aren't just because they care about people more, it's because they don't have vast populations of people they hate within their country. There is so much legislation that isn't passed simply because this country is racist. There's no protest where all women come together to make life better for all women, especially if white women are involved. I'll get into white women's bullshit later. Right now, I'm just going to keep tearing up patriarchy. When we talk about patriarchy, it's easy to fall into a binary. Men are bad, women are good. But patriarchy has no gender. Women, even Black women, can uphold patriarchal systems. Think about how respectability politics have been weaponized in our communities, or how certain women in positions of power perpetuate harmful norms. If we're serious about dismantling patriarchy, we can't reduce it to simply gender battles. Instead, we need to confront the ways patriarchy shapes relationships and even our liberation movements. I understand decentering men and other conversations similar to the 4B movement, but it doesn't do much to the system of patriarchy and just seems to me like an individualistic way to address how we stop the harm of gender oppression.
Okay, here we are. Here's your locker, and here's your combination. Now, do you have any questions or concerns?
Well, I do have a few concerns. It's kind of a pressing matter, but I know you don't have much time.
White women are a problem. Once again, 53% of them voted for Trump. And I'm going to be dead ass. I don't know why anyone was surprised. White women will choose white supremacy every time, even if it means voting against their interests. Many black women, including Kamala Harris, thought they'll come through for abortion rights. Because white women love talking about abortions. But let's be real, okay? White women love patriarchy as much as they love white supremacy. Because patriarchy, although oppressive for white women, still props them up above all other women. It's not by accident that Donald Trump could only win an election if he ran against women. I didn't know white women wouldn't come through because I had more information than other people. Like that's not why. I just really don't know of a world or have lived a life where I have ever seen a white woman do anything that I can benefit from. It has always been the reverse. I firmly know that my liberation will never come from the hands of white women. And that's just a fact. For historical context, white women's voting patterns aren't new. In 1920, when women gained the right to vote, many white suffragists actively excluded black women from the movement, prioritizing their own access to power over solidarity. And these white women to this day still go to Susan B. Anthony's grave to put stickers on it. The same person who said she would rather cut off her arm than to let a Negro vote. Yeah. Fast forward to 2016 and 2020, and we see a continuation of this trend. White women voting overwhelmingly for the candidates who uphold white supremacy and patriarchy. It's not even about their individual choices. It's about collective investment in systems that protect their privilege, even at their own expense. White women have historically benefited from patriarchy, even as they've been oppressed by it. By aligning themselves with white supremacy, they've secured a degree of power and protection within these systems. The question isn't why 53% of white women voted for Trump. The question is why we keep expecting them not to.
We're a little more than a month away from our Women's March on January 18th in Nashville.
I'm sorry. The 92% will not be in attendance. Please check with that other 8 fuck-ass percent. We will be minding our business for the next 48 business months. Bye.
I don't trust them, and I just never will. So, where do we go from here? First, we've got to be pragmatic and organized. Support local elections, get involved with third-party organizing, and pour energy into grassroots movements. Mutual aid is also key. What skills or resources can you share with your community? Mutual aid is about building networks of care where we directly help one another. It's not charity, it's solidarity. Ask yourself, what can I offer my community and what do I need in return? Some examples of mutual aid are if you're, good at cooking, consider hosting community meal sharing events. If you have tech skills, offer workshops on resume building or digital literacy. Teach your elders how to use the computer, Support bail funds or rent relief funds in your area. Start small, find local mutual aid networks, or create a neighborhood group to share skills, tools, and resources. We can begin reclaiming local power through elections. Local elections often decide the issues that impact us most directly. School boards, city councils, even district attorneys, those roles shape policies on housing, education, policing, and more. Research your local candidate. There's some tools you can use like Ballot Ready or Vote 411 to learn more about those. I'll link those in the description so you can use it as a tool to research candidates. This one for me is huge. Don't wait for the next presidential election to start supporting third-party candidates or other parties besides Democrat and Republican. Do that now. Help them now. They need you on the ground now. Build the momentum for these third-party candidates now. I'm so tired of not hearing a peep about third party. Do not wait for the next presidential election to now be on your soapbox talking about third party candidates. Volunteer for them, phone bank, canvas for them, fundraise for them. Just do that. I'm tired of y'all. I really am. I'm just so tired of y'all. You can look for grassroots organization in your state or city that are pushing progressive politics. You can also do something that's simple if you have the monetary means to commit to donating. And even if it's something as small as $5 a month, or you can volunteer your time to these organizations as well, these grassroots collectives as well. And finally, this one is really big for me. Expand your media bubble. Algorithms keep us in an echo chamber. So seek out new perspectives and share them, like this video. You should share it. Change starts with us. It doesn't end there. Diversify your news sources. Some of the things that I do is I like to read ProPublica, also like The Guardian for their investigative journalism. They do a lot of investigative journalism, which I, at this point in my life, prefer over op-ed stuff. I used to be an op-ed girl, but now I want people who dug deep and did research and they're reporting the stories to me. That's my shit now. I know a lot of us aren't into traditional media, but there is some traditional media that has been doing this work and still try to. Funding is just an issue. So watch PBS. If I watch news, I'm watching it on PBS because they have very nuanced takes, and also they don't sensationalize stories. I just can't stand like news like CNBC or MSNBC. I can't even stand those anymore because they sensationalize. It's like they make politics a sport, and like politics affect my life too much to watch me play with them like that. So I just can't do it. Democracy Now! There's others. If you know of others, please put them in the comments. Let's share all of this information with each other. And follow independent journalists on platforms. Every journalist at this point has a Substack, YouTube channels. They're podcasters. Follow these independent journalists and creators who do their work with integrity. We have to also, if you are able to, get offline and go outside and show up. The internet is helpful with sparking ideas. So much I've learned from the internet, but it doesn't mean a whole lot to the collective until we go outside and put that theory into practice, put those thoughts into practice, put whatever was sparked into practice. You have to attend town halls and rallies and community events. Direct action is what is needed. A lot of us are reading the books, closing them, maybe talking to our friends about it. And for some of us, that's just where it stays, and that's just not enough anymore. I've got a lot of my thoughts, so I'll conclude this here. Black women and femmes have always been at the forefront of liberation work. Accept the allyship when it's authentic, but remember, we can only rely on ourselves for our freedom. Balance love, rest, and strategy. Rest is essential, but we must pair it with intentional collective action. Balance radical self-care with showing up for the work. So that's it. Like this video, share it, drop some things in the comments, keep the conversation going. I'm happy to be back. I'm hoping you're happy to have me back. Become a patron to sustain this work or donate via Cash App or Venmo. Every little bit helps amplify this platform. And remember, you are enough. You're a bad bitch. Stay fly. And I'll see you in the next video. Oh my God, I did it. Oh my God. Okay. That's it.